Ravens flock. The flock rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. So I'm telling you now, it's about to go down. The podcast, the flock rundown. Ravens, baby. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
Appreciate you, Ray. What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of the Flock Rundown. We got Game of the Year going on this week. Monday night, Baltimore Ravens traveling to the San Francisco 49ers. Christmas Day, prime time, man. I can't wait. Number one seed in the NFC versus the number one seed in the AFC. There's a ton of hype around this game this week. Players are talking about this game from both sides. The national media is involved. Deebo Samuel was kind of in all of Lamar Jackson. Watch this clip here.
Man, that man is playing out this world right now. We're like real talented, strong arm, like can play the game. Like Lamar is a guy. Like he has everything that you look for, and like just looking at him like week in and week out, like he always doing something amazing. It's just like shows how good he is.
Players recognize greatness, and what Lamar is doing and who he is as a player is greatness. Obviously, we need that Super Bowl for sure, but Lamar is on a different level. He may not have the same stats as a Brock Purdy, who right now is leading the MVP odds. Lamar's in the conversation for sure, and I think this game could impact the MVP race. I personally don't care as much about the MVP race this year. Maybe that's because Lamar already has a unanimous MVP. I just want a Super Bowl, man. Like this MVP talk, it'd be cool for Lamar to get a second MVP, sure, but without a Super Bowl, it just doesn't mean a lot. Lamar could stack 8 MVPs together. You got to get a Super Bowl ring, and I know he wants that too, but this game does have MVP implications. If Lamar goes and balls and we beat San Francisco, I would say Lamar's probably going to jump to the MVP favorite. Purdy being an MVP, I get the talk, I get the statistics, but individually as a player, I don't think that he's the most valuable player in the entire league to his team. I really do not see that at all. I think Lamar Jackson is one of those, Mahomes is another one of those guys. There's certain guys that are the most valuable players and can be the most valuable players in a league. I just don't think Purdy is that, not yet at least. I'm not seeing it. I think that he plays and execute that system perfectly, and he's a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong. He's still got to go out there and deliver that ball and make those reads and execute that system, but he is not doing it all by himself. They have playmakers everywhere. I would even argue that Christian McCaffrey is more important to that team. So therefore, if you're more important to your own team, you definitely got to be one of the most important players in the league. So I would argue that a McCaffrey or even a Tyreek Hill, if the Dolphins keep going and he can get healthy, I think those guys have more value than even a Purdy. And then Lamar's just always in that conversation. Lamar's definitely one of those guys. He's just going to need a big stat boost in a huge moment, and that could come on Monday night. If Lamar throws 4 touchdowns and we beat the Niners, I think Lamar can jump to number one MVP odds with 2 weeks left. And most importantly, we'd be 12-3. Hopefully the Dolphins lose to the Cowboys, and then the Dolphins game doesn't matter. We kind of got the number one seed in our grip, so that would be beautiful. But if we do happen to lose to the Niners, not the end of the world. We do play the Dolphins for the number one seed the following week. I would imagine they're going to flex that game. Right now it's still a 1 o'clock game. I'm hearing rumors and seeing things on Twitter. I don't know how reliable the sources are, but I'm hearing that it might go to Sunday Night Football, and that would make sense. If it's for the number one seed, I think Sunday Night Football is deserving. Another interesting thing I came across is Mark Ingram a few days ago replied to a tweet and kind of ensued like, call me, Baltimore, I'm ready. So then Jack Settleman on their podcast with Marlon Humphrey asked Marlon Humphrey, like, if he heard about it, blah, blah. He said no, but he texted Mark during the podcast. Got a reply later in the podcast. Let's roll the clip.
And per source, been training 3 to 4 days a week all year. Mark Ingram.
Okay.
So you mean there's a chance?
So Mark might be ready to go. That'd be a very interesting ad. I don't know if he would lift the production on the field a ton just because stylistically he's probably similar to a Melvin Gordon or even a Gus. You know, he's definitely not replacing a Keaton Mitchell's quickness and speed. And that's kind of what we're missing now. You know, Justice Hill brings some of that for sure, but Keaton Mitchell had a different level of explosiveness. And Mark Ingram's not going to bring that. But man, would he boost the locker room even more? You know, I feel like we have a really tight locker room as is. The vibes are high right now. The guys love each other. You know, everyone's confident. We have leaders. But adding Mark in there, as Marlon said in the podcast, is just the cherry on top to what's probably a perfect storm of a locker room and a combination of guys. And I feel like Mark Ingram's energy would just help lift everything that much more. I have confidence in Melvin Gordon to step up a bit too, but I think Mark Ingram's kind of in that same lane where these are just veterans that have had success at a really high level throughout their careers, especially Mark Ingram, man. I feel like he's pretty consistently produced when given the opportunity, and he would definitely be motivated to kind of have a last ride in Baltimore instead of just going off to retirement. And if he's working out 3 or 4 days a week all year long, he could be in shape. I don't know. It's interesting. It's obviously speculation and it's just for fun, but there's a chance. Mark's obviously interested, so it'd be up to the team to give him a shot and see what he has. That's it for today, guys. I can't wait for this game Monday night. Let me know what you guys are thinking about everything we talked about today and this upcoming game. And we'll have the game preview episode on Friday, as always, with another giveaway. And we'll dive into the specific matchup. I think this might be the best one just because there's a lot to talk about on both sides of the ball. A lot of big name players who are playing at a really high level on both teams. So this is going to be one for the ages. But I appreciate you guys, as always, tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys next time.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.